Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Cabral.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Cabral HouseCalls, the weekend edition of the Cabral Concept. Thank you for joining me very much today. I appreciate you, appreciate your time, and looking forward to being able to share with you the answers to either your question or the community's questions from everybody that has written in over the past few weeks. So I'm excited to be able to detail all of that for you today. Of course, we are now doing these live on video, and you can find that at youtube.com/Stephen Cabral, or feel free to watch it on the main show notes page, which if you want to follow along with today's questions from the community and watch it on video, or of course, just listen to it, head on over to StephenCabral.com/1723. That's StephenCabral.com/1723. In my Boston office right now, enjoying some quiet time, being able to read over and look over all the questions that have really come in over the past few weeks, and excited to get into it. The first question today came in September 21st. Just remember, we're about 4 weeks to 6 weeks or so behind right now. All questions that I answer on this show only come in through one place. So my team gathers them from the form, which is at StephenCabral.com/ask Cabral. So if you have a question, you'd like it answered on a weekend edition of the show, feel free to ask that at StephenCabral.com/ask Cabral, and I will absolutely answer that question in the order that it comes in. Now, the last thing I will say, because a lot of times we do get customer service questions that come in, keep in mind, I don't even see these questions for 4 to 6 weeks. So there's no prep time. I'm basically giving you my answer as if you were approaching me at a conference, or we were talking over Skype or Zoom or whatever it might be. So if you have a customer service question, you're wondering about how to do a protocol, or you're wondering where your product is, or you need tracking information, whatever it might be, the best thing to do is email support@equilibriumnutrition.com, because we are not the best for that. Equilibrium Nutrition, now officially Equilife, is its own company. That is separate from what I do with the podcast, all of that. That is a team of 50 amazing people that I don't run on a day-to-day basis. I provide the formulations for all the protocols and nutritional supplements. I choose the specific labs that I use in my private practice, but the management, the running of that is a totally separate team. So I want to make sure you are taken care of the fastest way possible. And Ask Cabral is about answering your health questions, wellness, weight loss, and anti-aging. All right, I've done enough of a rant. Let's get into your questions. Trying to be as relaxed as possible right here. I'm seated, relaxed, sitting back for as much as I can be. And all right, let's dive into your questions. First one's from Cynthia. Cynthia says, "Hi, Dr. Cabral. I've been a long-time listener and have been sharing as many podcasts with loved ones as possible. Really appreciate your work. My 24-year-old son has a roll on the back of his head, which is on his scalp, and has been there since junior high school. It did seem to start when he started to gain weight. He's currently about 80 to 100 pounds overweight. He is starting the 21-day detox to open, working on his health and well-being. Although I don't think it's a medical issue, it has been causing insecurity and taking a toll on his confidence. Also, with having a large amount of weight to lose, could he have a slow metabolism? Should he be concerned about hormones and what could be causing this extra roll of skin? Other than detox, what steps should he prepare for?" Okay, so this is actually quite common. So I want to put your mind at ease, Cynthia. Although common, I always say not normal. We don't want this to happen, but common. Again, and not the first time, of course. I've seen it. Well, in Ayurveda, they talk about all the time. It is a lot of with the endomorphic-based body. So your son might be more predisposed to weight gain, but that doesn't mean he needs to be overweight. So here's what we want to do. we have to understand that there's body types. He could be more of the endomorph or the kapha body type, which is more prone to a slower metabolism. Does that mean you need to have a slow metabolism as a kapha or endomorph? No, it absolutely does not. And there's also lots and lots of benefits to being a kapha or endomorph. Typically, thicker, stronger hair, better skin, teeth, nails, more typical immunity. Obviously, and I shouldn't say obviously, but along with that, a lot of immunity as well. So you have to take the good with the bad. Sometimes we all have to do that with our own genetics and how we are. But yes, if your son is 80 to 100 pounds overweight, we want to look at where's the breakdown in detox. What are the hormonal imbalances? Too high a level of cortisol, too low a level of thyroid, low levels of vitamin D, poor sleep. Like all of these things matter. So if you can, I highly recommend the Big 5 labs, of course, because he could have very high levels of omega-6s to omega-3s, food sensitivities, gut issues, low vitamins, low electrolytes or imbalances in electrolytes, hormones, etc. So Big 5 is best. If you can't run the Big 5, run the starter kit. Okay, that's what I would recommend. And yes, we should be able to shrink those rolls on the scalp and oftentimes on the neck, which will not just lead to a reduction, obviously, in the, I don't know the best way to say it, but from a vanity-based standpoint. But the truth is that the thicker someone's neck, okay, or the more, of a circumference or rolls on the neck, actually the poorer health outcome as an adult. So the good news is this. Your son's 24. We can work on this right now so that it's never an issue as he gets older and older. So I'm glad that you're working on this now. He's lucky to have you as a mom, and I know that you're going to be able to figure this out. The 21-day detox is a great place to start. If you can run the labs first, the starter kit first, or the Big 5, even better, before doing the detox, because the detox is already going to help set you on your way to helping you get well. But, of course, do the detox and then, again, progress from there. Thank you, Cynthia. Dawn is up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. Thank you so much for all your information. I'm a huge fan of yours. I have a question about blood sugar and hemoglobin A1C. I recently did the mood, stress, and metabolism test, and it revealed that I have high cortisol throughout the day. My estrogen and progesterone are also low, although I'm only 32. I have blood glucose monitor at home, which I often check throughout the day. It shows that my fasted blood level is high, around 90 to 100, even though I eat very healthy diet with no processed carbs or sugar. I started getting frustrated with these results because I know there's not much else I can do as far as cleaning up my diet since it's already very clean, unprocessed, low in starchy carbs. I came to the conclusion my blood sugar is high because of my cortisol. However, the lab tests also showed that my hemoglobin A1C was only a 4.2. My insulin was a 3.6, which are both within range. I'm confused as to why my blood sugar constantly tests so high, even when fasted. My hemoglobin and insulin tested normal on my lab. Should I still be concerned about what the glucose monitor is telling me? Thank you so much for your insight and sending lots of love and support from New York City. Dawn, thank you so much for the love. We appreciate it. We send it right back to you as well. Thank you for the kind words. I always do appreciate when people start their question with that. So, all right, this gets complex, but it doesn't mean that it's a complex answer. Okay, so we look at the body's ability to control weight, because I believe, let's see, we want to look at hormones and blood sugar. I'm not sure if weight's an issue, but let's look at weight, for example. A lot of people are trying to cut down on carbs and increase exercise. I get it, and it certainly works in the short run. The problem is, it's very difficult to maintain by eating too little or not eating any carbs. And also it's difficult to maintain high levels of exercise forever. So eventually that leads to what? Well, yo-yo weight gain. So the truth is you need to balance cortisol, thyroid, sleep hormones, of course, thermogenesis, and blood sugar. That's how you ultimately boost your metabolism and take the weight off. So just like our friend Cynthia and her son, well, yeah, you can have slow metabolism, but you can also boost it as well by boosting normal HPA axis dysfunction, which is the adrenals, normal hypothalamus pituitary thyroid function, which is the HPT axis, balancing cell membrane dynamics, which allows for better flow of glucose into the body. And then you can work on your sleep. So again, these things are all within your control. Never believe that they aren't. So in Dawn's case, we have a dysregulation of cortisol and we have a dysregulation of estrogen and progesterone. All of those things can affect the thyroid at a functional level, and they can absolutely affect glucose levels. So, for example, when you produce higher levels of cortisol, your body produces more glucocorticoids, which means your body does begin to break down liver glycogen, stored liver glycogen or muscle glycogen, and bring it into your bloodstream, even if you're not eating any carbs. That's why these low carb diets set you up to fail if you don't understand how stress hormones can raise blood sugar without you eating any sugar, right? So that's why it's really important that you go below, or should I say deeper, than the typical dogma out there of keto and low carb diets for life, right? There's a time and place maybe for a short period of time, but certainly not in the long term. It's going to be detrimental to your metabolism. So do keep in mind that, Dawn, you could continually throughout the day be stressed, breaking down liver glycogen and bringing it into your bloodstream, and not going overboard in terms of your hemoglobin A1C or insulin in the morning. It's, but again, remember the test that you took, the lab test that you took, is a snapshot in time. So it does not mean, and the hemoglobin A1C, I should say, is not a snapshot in time. That's over 90 days for that marker. But your insulin can be high or low depending on how many glucocorticoids were produced, cortisol, or, what the call for insulin was at the time. So this can get complicated, but what I'm saying is this. Fix what you do know. Begin to use things like Adrenal Soothe. Begin to add in meditation. Use these parasympathetic nervous system techniques. Work on estrogen dominance, work on balancing the body, and you will be able to repair. You really will. Use your 12 to 14 to 16 hour overnight fasts. Continue to transition from a lower carb to adding a little bit of berries and things like that into your diet. All of these things will help to calm that sympathetic nervous system dominance. And the last thing I would say is check out the Fatlocity program that we offer, which really goes in depth on how to lose weight and keep it off for life as well. Thank you, Don. Jesse's up next. What is the best at-home water filter to install under your sink or for the entire home? I know clean water is so important, and I don't think our fridge filter is cutting it. What is the best home sauna? A prefab model similar to that could be hooked up to a regular outlet. Thank you for all you do and the truth you share. We need more people like you. Thanks, Jesse. The good news is all of these things have been really detailed for you on previous podcasts. So my house call questions and answers, I like to keep to 3 to 5 minutes per question. So not too in-depth, but in-depth enough to know the next place to go. Okay, so best water filters, easy. Head on over to stephencabral.com/resources, and you can see all those water filters there. And for an in-depth podcast, breaking them all down, just go to stephencabral.com/podcasts and type in water filters. That will give you all the water filters you need. The on-the-counter ones, the ones you can keep in your fridge, the ones that go under your sink, all right? And the whole house filter one. So definitely check that out. Just type in water filters at stephencabral.com/podcasts or go to stephencabral.com/resources also for those as well. Now, the same place can be found for the best saunas. Excuse me. Starting to get a little dry throat here. A lot of talking goes on over here in the practice. So here's what I'll share with you. There are big barrel saunas that I recommend, big EMF saunas that I recommend, and then ones that you can plug in your own outlet at home. So head on over to stephencabral.com/podcasts and type in Therasage sauna, and you'll see the one that I recommend to plug into your home, which is low EMF. Or just type in saunas at stephencabral.com/podcast, or one more time, head over to stephencabral.com/resources and find all the saunas I recommend right there. All right. Thanks for the question. Let's see who's up next. Joey's up next. Hello, Dr. Cabral. I have a question about magnesium supplementation. I have never had any signs of magnesium deficiency, cramps, or high blood pressure, high sugar, headaches, and my daily magnesium intake, according to a chronometer, is about 600 milligrams. Yet, hearing the positive effects of magnesium left and right, I try to supplement daily with 200 milligrams to top my diet. I've tried mag citrate, magnesium glycinate, as well as your full spectrum magnesium, every time regardless of magnesium form after several days. Well, here's the thing, Joey. I now remember this question, and it was answered just last week on the house calls. It looks like you wrote in a second time. I'll keep this in. We won't edit it out. And the reason I'm going to keep it in is because, remember, it takes about 6 weeks or so for your question to be answered. No need to write back in. I will absolutely get to it. All right. Thanks, Joey. And your question was answered last week. I remember it specifically. So up next is Adrian. Adrian says, hi, Dr. Cabral. I trust your judgment. Please tell us what you think of Pumfu. It's like tofu, but the only ingredients are pumpkin seeds and water. It's obviously processed, but I'm loving the ingredients list. Any thoughts? All right. So I've not had Pumfu myself, but that is one of the reasons why I love our podcast community here, because they're always bringing up new things that kind of jog my memory or show me new things of food products out there. And you name it. It could be supplements, could be whatever. There's so many things out there. I love learning about them right along with you. So Pumfu, though, is just basically pumpkin seeds and water. And it's been processed, broken down, congealed together. And it's a clean product. It's pumpkin seeds and water. That's literally all it is. But check out my podcast on glutamates and glutamic acid. And also check out my other show on meat glue. Okay. So it's called transglutaminase. So both of those are very important to look at. And then what I would do is I would contact the company, Pumfu, and ask them, do you use transglutaminase, which is basically an enzyme that helps congeal all of this stuff together, and see if there's higher levels of glutamate. Now you can also, so definitely do that. I would ask them if it contains, I think it's TMG, transglutaminase, but also then eat it by itself one time, or eat it with a meal that you've already had. I have private wellness clients do this all the time in terms of a rotation diet. So basically, meals that work for you. You eat them all the time and it never gives you any issues. So eat one of those meals that you typically have all the time and replace the protein in whatever that meal is with the Pumfu, and see if later in a couple hours, that night, or the next day, if you get any brain fog or irritability or inflammation or any other side effect of eating this specific food. And if you do, well, it's not reacting with your body, even if you can typically have pumpkin seeds. So that's what I always recommend. I test these things out myself, and I recommend it for you because maybe it is a good additional protein source, because I believe there's like 15 grams of protein, like 15, 17 grams of protein or so in each serving. So it could be another choice that you add in. Now, would I do it every day? No, but maybe once a week or so, it might be an additional protein choice. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Adrian, for writing in with that. All right, let's get in another question. This one's from Sharon. Sharon says, hi, my daughter is following a 12-week protocol from Erica for estrogen balance and cortisol imbalance to test the results she had. Anna thinks the estrogen balance supplements are causing nausea. She had been taking them for 3 weeks now. Is this normal? Should she just continue with the supplements and see if it stops? Thank you so much, Sharon. All right, Sharon. If you're working with our health coach, Erica, who is absolutely amazing, write into Erica. So you can't write into me because I'm not your health coach. Like, that's the truth. And I'm not saying that in a negative way, but our health coaches are second to none. I mean, they're best in the world. And I meet with my health coaching team twice a week, so I can answer these questions should they come up. But if you think it's causing nausea, Erica knows what to do because she has your whole plan, your whole protocol, knows your whole health history. I don't. So I'm glad that you ran the stress hormones, mood, and metabolism test. And what Erica will tell you to do most likely is try taking estrogen balance mid-meal if you believe it's causing nausea, or remove it for 3 days, see if the nausea goes away, and then try adding it back in and see if the nausea continues. But again, mid-meal will hopefully decrease that for most people, especially since they're basically just extracts, DIM and I3C. And really effective. We use them with many, many thousands of people in practice. So Sharon, hopefully that helps. But remember, if your health coach gave you a protocol, contact your health coach, especially if they're with the Equal Life team, because they know your whole plan and they're much more equipped to be able to answer your question adequately. All right, I can get in one more question today, so I want to do that. Judy says, hi, Dr. Cabral. I was curious if you are still pleased with your IQ air filter and if you would continue to recommend getting one. I'm in the market for the new one to clean the air, and also curious how well the IQ air does with smelly odors such as steamed broccoli. All right. Thanks for writing in, Judy. You will be the last question for today. And the IQ air is absolutely amazing. It is absolutely amazing. So what I want to say is it's heavy duty. It is best in class. It's also why I think they partnered with like the American Lung Institute. Don't quote me on that. It's used in hospitals in clean rooms, which means that it has to be like literally hypoallergenic. It has to be best of the best. It's phenomenal. It is a phenomenal machine. It is a 4-sided machine, which most aren't. They're usually just front panel on most machines. But the one that I recommend, the Pro, is about $800 something. Now, is it worth it? Absolutely. I mean, the air replacements every 6 months, the filter replacements every 6 months are about, you can get the generic ones, which I did. Those are about $150. And then the IQ Air ones are about $250, I believe. And it's worth it. I mean, the truth is this is like, I don't spend money. I don't spend crazy money. I really don't. I have a pretty simple lifestyle, I think, for the most part. Like, I mean, I don't have a lot of wild lifestyle-based habits, but I do spend things on things that I believe benefit my health, my family's health. And if I look at that, let's say I'm going to use this for a decade. Like, there's no doubt I'm going to have my IQ Air for a decade. There's no doubt about it. So really now I'm looking at what, $80 a year. I mean, that's what, $6 a month. I mean, that's how I justify it. It's worth it. The other one that's definitely worth it for a couple $100 less, like $300 less, is the Air Doctor. And I recommend both of those. They're both great. They really are. It depends on how heavy duty you need it. But I recommend both. I really do. I have an IQ Air at home. And I have a Air Doctor, IQ Air in my Boston office because it's in a more urban-based environment. And then I have my Air Doctor at home because it's a cleaner environment. So that's what I do. I have both. Again, I truly believe in air filters like I believe in water filters. You need clean air and you need clean water, or you're going to be bombarded by invisible toxins, literally, that you can't see, but you can test for them. So hopefully that was helpful. Thank you so much for writing in. And again, you can find all of my best resources that I absolutely do use and recommend at stevencabral.com/resources. Take care, everyone. And tomorrow I'll be back answering more of our community's questions. Before you go, I wanted to ask you this question. What if I could teach you in just a couple of hours how to transform your thyroid, hormones, adrenal, cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight loss, energy, mood, brain, pregnancy, anti-aging, or many other health-related issues? After 20 years in private practice, after seeing and overseeing 250,000 client appointments, I sincerely feel I have the real-world data and have found the answer you've been searching for. So what I've done is spent hundreds of hours of my own time refining what you need to know in order to uncover your underlying root cause health issues and then begin to rebalance the body and bring it back to a state of robust health and wellness. I'm going to teach you exactly what I do in my private practice so you can understand how you got here and now what you need to do in order to heal. You'll receive all of the important success checklists, protocols, and even ways to customize it to make the program fit your busy life. And you'll get all of this at a fraction of the price. Let me save you the time, money, energy, stress, and frustration of not knowing what to do next. Instead of reading dozens of books on the topic and seeing multiple practitioners, I will condense everything that you need to know in just a few hours of video tutorials that you can watch and listen to anywhere. Together, we will make this healing process an enjoyable one that you can take with you for the rest of your life. I wish you all of the best of health and happiness, and I hope to be able to guide you on your healing journey through my Health Results Accelerators. Simply choose the health imbalance you're currently suffering from, and by the end of today, you'll know what went wrong and how to get well again. I guarantee it. For details, head over now to stevencabral.com/courses.